Here we are, at the end of the first world, at the end of the demo, and one of the only bosses we've seen for this fan game that has been in the making for over a decade, Tarantulus. You can be forgiven for thinking this guy might be a bit like Arik from Kremwood Forest, but he's bigger, nastier, and, well, just different, I guess. I wish I had a better intro for this. This is part 20 of Overthinking Donkey Kong Country 4. First thing I noticed was the cave itself. The DKC4 cave tile set, now covered in a ton of cobwebs. It's a simple design, but it looks great. There's a big web in the center of the arena, which I'm gonna assume is the main one. I read somewhere that spiders make a new web every day or night, so my guess is this is the most recent one, and likely the one he hoped to catch some monkeys in. Tarantulus creeps back and forward, seeming to want to keep his distance from the Kongs. He attacks by jumping up and rattling the cave with his heavy landing, shaking rocks loose which fall from the ceiling. Click Clack pops out too, and that's how you beat him. Bounce off the beetle, throw it at the giant spider. Wash, rinse, mate, feed, kill, repeat. If there were enemies like Tarantulus throughout the regular game, you could say that this boss is a throwback to the DKC school of making the boss's regular enemies just bigger. As it stands, he's likely unique to the game. There's not much to him, he's a giant tarantula. He looks a bit too good for the game, if that makes sense. A bit too clean, and maybe his animations use more frames than the standard DKC boss would. Because we don't see his face, we don't get much of a feel for his personality. His movements are all very rudimentary, so while they're well made, don't get me wrong, they don't give us much to go off of. The fight itself isn't perfect either. It's simple, and once you know what you're doing, it's fine. But nothing in Tarantulus's design communicates to the player what strategy is gonna work. So the click clack I was taking a bath thing is very much just trial and error. Not a deal breaker, but yeah. And that's the end of the demo. By this point, players should know if they're in or out, and despite my issues and criticisms, of which there are more than a few, I am very much in. I want to see this project finished, and I want to see it succeed. The devs, while amateurs, are clearly talented, clearly have a deep love for the source material, and ultimately have worked too hard for too long for this not to be worth it. That's all for now. One more video, and Donkey Kong December is over.